Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a genuinely groundbreaking research paper that introduces something called EvONOTE. It's an AI system that essentially cures its own amnesia to fight online health misinformation. You know, if you've ever felt like the internet is playing this exhausting, never-ending game of whack-a-mole with fake news, well, you're definitely not alone. I mean, think about it. A dangerous rumor about some fake miracle cure pops up on your feed, it gets taken down, but then, 3 months later, boom. It resurfaces with just a slightly different picture. It's completely exhausting for platforms to moderate, but this paper, it proposes a fascinating solution. What if an AI could learn from every single lie it encounters and actively improve its own defenses? Let's get right into it.
So here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the misinformation memory problem. Then we'll introduce EvONOTE. After that, we'll break down exactly how this AI learns, check out the benchmark test, do a little human versus machine showdown, and wrap up with the future of fact-checking. Okay, starting with the status quo. To really appreciate this new framework, we first need to talk about the severe case of amnesia that's currently plaguing large language model fact-checkers. Right now, almost all AI fact-checkers use a method known as one-pass generation. Basically, the system treats every single misleading claim it sees as an entirely isolated incident. It resets, completely wipes its memory, and starts from scratch every single time. And why is this such a massive problem? Well, because health myths don't just appear once and vanish into the void. Think about a persistent myth, like a supposed miracle tea that cures a severe illness. It goes viral in January, gets debunked, but then it pops right back up in March. And when it does, it uses the exact same flawed logic, the exact same rhetorical tricks, and the exact same gaps in evidence. When an AI fact-checker treats that recurring March myth as brand new, it's just throwing away all the valuable correction experience it gained back in January. It wastes a ton of time starting from zero when really, it could have debunked the claim instantly.
It's a fatal flaw, honestly. You've got the one-pass system where the AI sees a post, burns a ton of computational energy generating a note, and then just forgets everything. It's a huge waste of resources, but then you contrast that with an evolving generation paradigm. Instead of treating these as isolated little episodes, the AI carries an evolving experience memory. Every single time it evaluates a claim, it distills and reuses that note generation experience for the next time. It's literally the difference between studying for a really difficult exam from scratch every single day versus walking into the room with cumulative knowledge from months of prep. It doesn't just work hard, it works smart by remembering its past.
And this glaring flaw with one-pass systems is exactly what brings us to the inciting incident of our research paper, the creation of EvONOTE.
Now, EvONOTE isn't just your standard run-of-the-mill AI chatbot. It's an agentic framework. And in simple terms, agentic just means the AI operates with a real level of autonomy. It acts as an independent agent making its own multi-step decisions rather than just sitting around waiting for a text prompt from a human. It's explicitly designed to enable community notes to self-evolve through an experience memory of prior corrections. Practically speaking, EvONOTE learns from its past battles with fake news so it never makes the exact same mistake twice. Instead of updating its underlying hard-coded parameters, which, by the way, is incredibly computationally expensive and slow, it builds this dynamic, highly responsive database of actionable lessons. To pull this off, the system relies on two really fascinating AI personas. On one hand, you have the social utility judge. Think of this as the master evaluator. It grades the entire fact-checking process based on health-specific qualities, like, is this understandable? Is it trustworthy? On the other hand, you have the memory evolver. When the judge hands down its verdict, the evolver acts like a super diligent student taking detailed notes. So let's say the AI fact-checks a post, but the judge decides the language was way too academic for a general audience. The memory evolver immediately jots down a fine-grained strategy. Okay, next time I encounter this topic, use a simpler analogy. It takes that specific feedback and turns it into a reusable memory.
So we've got a judge and an evolver, but how exactly does this AI apply what it learns to future health myths? Let's break down the process. EvONOTE organizes its memories into a very strict 3-phase procedure. When it encounters a lie it has seen variations of before, it retrieves specific memories for each of these 3 steps. Step 1 is claim analysis, basically figuring out exactly what specific medical claim needs checking. Step 2 is evidence acquisition, and this is crucial. It's not just doing a blind web search. Based on its past experience, EvONOTE knows exactly where to look. It knows if it needs to pull data from the CDC, the WHO, or if it needs to dive deep into a specific peer-reviewed medical journal. And finally, step 3 is note writing. structuring the corrections so it's actually helpful and clear to an everyday reader. By categorizing memories into these specific phases, it ensures the right lesson is applied at the exact right moment. But the true secret sauce here is what the researchers call trajectory-level utility judgment. Most current systems just use final note grading. That's kind of like a math teacher slapping a giant red F on your final answer. You know you failed, but you have no idea why. EvONOTE uses trajectory-level judgment instead. It grades the entire trajectory of the AI's thought process. It looks at the search history, the exact pieces of evidence it decided to collect, the rhetorical strategies it used. It's exactly like that math teacher looking at your scratch pad to show you precisely where you forgot to carry the 1 in step 2. It tells the AI exactly what it did right or wrong during its research so it can actually improve the underlying process, not just the final output. Which leads perfectly to this powerful quote from the researchers. Every flagged post should become experience before the next similar one recurs. Capturing that full trajectory turns every single piece of misinformation into a highly calibrated weapon against the next one. It is a profoundly cumulative snowballing approach to fact-checking. Of course, any new system needs a proper trial. How do we know this actually works in the wild? That brings us to the rigorous benchmarking phase. The researchers absolutely did not hold back here. They subjected EvONOTE to a highly difficult benchmark called Health-CN. They threw 1,200 complex health posts at it, all flagged by real users. And this wasn't just text, it was multimodal. The AI had to analyze text, images, and video content all at the same time. Crucially, they evaluated the output against 4 health-specific utility dimensions, grounded in public health communication. It's not just about being factually right, you know? The AI is graded on understandability, trustworthiness, usability for safe public action, and meaningfulness for risk perception. That last one is vital. It means the AI has to effectively communicate exactly how dangerous ignoring the correction might be. If a fake remedy is literally toxic, the note has to make that risk crystal clear. And the data completely speaks for itself. When you look at the percentage of notes deemed helpful, EvONOTE vastly outperforms its amnesic AI baselines. By retaining and applying its evolving memory, it produces the highest percentage of genuinely helpful, accurate, and well-sourced notes. We are not just talking about a minor incremental tweak here. This performance gap physically illustrates just how much more effective an evolving memory framework is compared to a system that starts from absolute zero every single time. But hey, the ultimate showdown isn't really against other AIs, is it? The real test is EvONOTE versus the gold standard human fact-checkers. The efficiency gap between human and machine here is absolutely staggering. Look at the median latency to produce a candidate note. For human written notes, actually, let me emphasize this, it takes a median time of over 13 hours. That is 13 hours where a highly misleading, potentially dangerous health post is just spreading virally online without a single correction attached to it. Thousands of people could view and share a dangerous home remedy in a 13-hour window. Meanwhile, EvONOTE completes its highly researched evidence-backed generation in under 2 minutes, 112.6 seconds to be exact. The speed advantage in neutralizing a viral threat is just undeniable. But here is the real kicker. It doesn't sacrifice quality for that blazing speed. In offline, pairwise evaluations validated by human judges, EvONOTE's generated notes were actually preferred over the corresponding human-written notes in 89.6% of cases. Almost 90% of the time, the self-evolving AI provided a better note. Why? Because the AI can synthesize complex, completely up-to-date medical journals faster and more comprehensively than a human who is just rushing to put out a viral fire. It has the entire web of medical knowledge and its own past experience at its fingertips in seconds.
So, what does a system this fast and this accurate mean for the rest of us? Let's move to our final section and explore the future of fact-checking on the internet. The researchers highlight EvONOTE's massive potential in tackling needs-more ratings cases. If you aren't familiar with that term, it describes this really dangerous limbo period on social media platforms. It's when a post goes incredibly viral, users flag it as fake, but human moderators just haven't reached a consensus yet to attach a warning label. While humans debate, the misinformation spreads unchecked. But when tested on these unresolved posts, EvONOTE produced helpful notes in 82% of cases. It acts as a crucial early correction aid, providing high-quality context when speed matters absolutely the most. Now, of course, because this is sensitive health information, human oversight is still required for final safety before publishing. But as a rapid response drafting tool, it's revolutionary. By transitioning from one-pass amnesia to a self-evolving memory, EvONOTE completely flips the script on misinformation governance. Every lie, every misleading statistic, every out-of-context video simply makes the fact-checker stronger, smarter, and faster. It literally turns the spread of fake news into the very experience used to defeat it. It's almost like an immune system for the internet.
Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought to take away from today's explainer. If an AI can learn from past lies with this level of speed and accuracy, how long until misinformation is corrected before it even has the chance to spread? It is a fascinating and honestly a very hopeful future to imagine. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into EvONote, and keep learning.